Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the third body video for people with a posture ranking of 5 to 9, meaning you do have pain, whether it's a little bit or a lot, that you can use as a guide to help you learn how to move. So now that you've done a little cleaning and you've learned the broken back float, right? You've learned how to move around in a way that allows you to feel less pain, right? Now you can start to use that skill to help fix your furniture, to pick things that are going to help improve your posture instead of just keeping you down. If you're in the group of 5 to 9, then you already know that there's a bit of an issue and you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're stuck because if you try to do something that you know is healthier, it feels uncomfortable and painful, right? So, we're going to show you some tricks that you can use to get around this sticky situation. Um, we have before we get started though, this third body lesson, I've actually split it up into 8 different videos so you don't get overwhelmed. We're going to tackle these one thing at a time. We're going to take a look at all the main kinds of furniture that everybody uses and how to go about fixing them. Before we get started, I'd like to spend a minute going over why it's in the order that it's in so that you can customize it if you'd like. It might suit you a little better. This is going to work very well for just about everybody. But you'll see what I mean in a minute. So we start out with whatever you use the most, right? For most people, that's going to be the chair, especially in groups 5 to 9, right? Um, you've got a more sedentary lifestyle. We use chairs an awful lot, so we need to do something to figure out how to improve how we use them, right? Also, your shoes and your pants. They're always on you, aren't they? And they're always affecting your posture. So we want to give some thought to what to do with the stuff that you use the most first. Then we want to take a look at opposite kinds of motion. So, how to adjust things whenever you're doing the sorts of things you do when you stand, how to adjust things whenever you're sitting around relaxing, whether that's on a couch or not. So, if you take care of all the stuff that you're basically doing most of the time during your waking hours, the tipping point then is fixing your bed. Now you've done something to help improve things all the way around the clock. So instead of just knowing how to decrease pain in the moment, right, by being a little bit more careful about how we line things up when we move, we can definitely eliminate pain that way. But we can also eliminate pain in a more generalized sense just by improving our overall health. So once you tackle your bed, that's definitely going to be the tipping point. Then afterwards are a few very important tidbits, right? We all spend a lot of time in vehicles, whether we're a passenger or not, makes no difference. Everybody spends a lot of time using the toilet, right? That's not one to skip. That's very important. And the desk is a big, students, most people do desk work, don't they? There's not a whole lot of monkeys out there anymore. So these are definitely very important, but they're not your primary motion. So you want to adjust this. For example, if you are working 60 hours a week as a bus driver, you might want to move number 6, the vehicle one, up into the number 3 slot, right? Because that's something you're doing all of the time. If you are completely bedridden, for example, well, number 5 should be number 1 then, shouldn't it? For just about everybody else, unless you're totally bedridden, number 5 should stay in the middle as your tipping point. I would strongly recommend that. Put whatever you do the most up on top. Take care of your opposite kinds of main motion, and then your tipping point is going to be the bed, and the leftovers go underneath. So for today's video, we want to focus on number 1, the chair, right? Okay, so for folks that are already a little stiff and sore, you already know that you're I better move that back for a second. You already know that you're kind of particular about how you sit, right? There are absolutely opposite kinds of chairs in the world, and this is important to understand. Um, you might be one of the people who actually isn't so terribly off. You find yourself, whenever you sit in most chairs, you'll find yourself perching on the edge of it because you don't like chairs a whole lot. That's actually a good sign. That means you have a sense of that chairs are forcing you into bad posture. So, unless you're horribly tired or something, you'd rather perch, right? For most people in the 5 to 9 group, that's not going to be the case. You're going to be comfortable in the kind of chair I can't show you because I don't even own one. But you know what I mean. Um, they are shaped like the letter C, and that is more comfortable, right? Basically, It holds you into your slouch position, right? And ideally, it's even got a bit of a headrest that comes forward a bit to keep that letter C. And then you just tip the whole thing over a little so that you don't fall out of it. Very comfortable, right? Very, very, very bad posture. So, depending on how much pain you're in, you're not going to get anywhere by going out and buying new chairs and trying to force yourself into a different posture. That's just not a good idea. What you want to do is keep whatever you have, keep whatever you're comfortable with and you're working with, but find a tool that will allow you to modify it in a way that isn't painful and will start to improve your posture. So before I show you that tool, I'd like to go over a little more specifically. Oh, you better move this forward a little. Exactly what's creating posture of both kinds in these chairs. So for people in the 5 to 9 group have a harder time moving around, you probably already know that you prefer something with an armrest, right? If I actually think of pain mode here, right? If I make sure I'm standing perfectly so that I'm not feeling the sensitive spots that are going to scream at me if I do something wrong, right? I absolutely need those handles, don't I, to lower myself into a chair. That's very important. It allows me to adjust by going up and down so I can do the stick people thing and never bend that back, right? You can't do that if your chair doesn't have arms. So arms is very important. It's very important to have the right size of chair, right? Something where your knees are square. They're not hanging off or crunched up. Again, this might be comfortable for slouch. See, as soon as your knees raise, it kind of wants to throw you forward, right? This is much better. If you can find a chair like the one you're looking at right now, I would strongly recommend it. This is the one I use for all of my guests who are either larger or have bad posture, and it works very, very well for any kind of posture style, and it's already starting to correct the problems. This part here, oh, it's tipping. I have to put it on a board here because I'm outside. Okay, there we go. This part here is lower than this part right here. It's especially important if you're a girl, but it's important for both genders to leave room for your tail. See, this has got no trouble because it's a big open area. This is coming forward a little bit. Not so much in this one. This allows you to do the letter C a little more easily than I personally would prefer. There we go. But you get the idea. It's still, even for me, it's still allowing this part to come forward. If I want to use, ideally, it would be really great for you to have a chair around that allows you to use both good posture and bad posture comfortably. And this is definitely going to get the job done. It's the only style of chair I've seen that will actually do that for people who are in more pain. The tool to fix all of the chairs with, regardless of whether you get new, again, I said don't go out and buy new chairs, right? So maybe qualify that a little bit. If you run across something like this, I would pick it up. If you're an adult and you have any chance of owning something like this, just get it, because they're hard to find and they're wonderful to have. This one even works as an indoor-outdoor chair. It's absolutely ideal, very easy to clean. You get the idea. But again, part of this demonstration actually works because this is a good chair. Even with the good ones, you still really kind of need this tool, right? If I really want to be comfortable in this chair, I still need something. Whoop! Pretend I didn't fall off here. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. There we go. That pillow really does the trick, okay? So a little more about this pillow here. This one is the Cadillac of pillows, and you notice it's filled with air. Okay, there's all kinds of fancy, expensive pillows out there of different shapes that are made to correct back posture, right? I find them to be highly, highly handicapped at best. They're usually, first of all, you have to find one that's exactly the right shape for you, and then you still have a problem because it's a fixed shape. It doesn't allow your body to move, and this does because it's filled with air. If you sit in a normal chair like this, Let me turn a little so you can see. Okay. If I sit in a normal chair like this, even if I'm comfortable, right? Even if I can sit myself just perfectly and kind of relax, it's going to become awkward because it's still a rigid shape. Now you might be very used to it, especially if you're on the stronger side of the pain scale. So you just try to find a place where you're not hurting and stay there as long as you can, right? But that's actually very counterproductive. What you want is something that allows you to start wiggling, and an air pillow will do that. When I use an air pillow instead of a back-shaped pillow, I can actually stretch. I can stretch so well that I can self-adjust without even leaving my chair. Okay? It's very hard to describe what this is like. You're just going to have to get a pillow and start playing with it to find it. But it's a very easy fix. Regardless of what kind of chair you're stuck with, you can absolutely use this. Like, say you're more comfortable with more of a C still, right? Okay, this is still going to finally start allowing you flexibility when you're in your shape. Whatever shape that you're comfortable at right now, it's going to open up the possibility of movement, and it's going to encourage a correction towards the reverse C, right? Without causing pain. So it's really worth its weight in gold. This here is the Cadillac of air pillows. I think I paid $15 for it. It's from a company called Medicare. I thought it was worth it. I've had this pillow for 20 years now. But you don't have to spend $15, okay? You don't really have to hardly spend anything at all. If you go just any big box store, Target, Walmart, whatever, look at their camping stuff, you're going to find some little at the very most $10 for some kind of little plastic inflatable pillow. It does not have to be a Cadillac in order to work well. As a matter of fact, you could use a balloon. If you're absolutely stuck, you don't have a pillow, you want to get started, use a balloon. Don't fill it up all the way, right? This is about halfway filled. You want to leave room for movement. It doesn't work if it's a big, huge, round ball, right? You just want a little bit of an air cushion, something that you can carry with you, deflate whenever you want easily. I guess you can't do that so well with a balloon, but you get the idea. For that matter, you could use plastic bubble wrap from mailers to wrap glass and stuff, you know. Of course, if you squash the bubble wrap, then you can't use it as a pillow anymore. But you get the idea. Absolutely any kind of little tool, put some air behind your back. For $5, you can seriously start to transform your posture by making a pain-free correction to the tool you use the most, which is a chair, right? So, I think that should do it. Yes, I suppose I did not focus too much. For those of you who are in more dire straits, I think we should spend, you already saw me model it once, but I did it kind of fast. So I'd like to emphasize proper posture for sitting and moving when you're sitting, when you're in a lot of pain. You know, if you keep that broken back, puppet thing going on where you just do not allow your spine to move. The secret, you go as slowly as you need to. You know, when I broke my back, it might take me a full minute, seriously, just to get into a chair. And I had to be very, very careful about exactly how I sat in that chair, or I would not be able to get out of it again. So, again, just keep in mind where's your center of balance and start working out your arms because they are going to save you. You can start actually moving in your chairs in a way that you're not stuck with whatever, your two favorite chairs are. You can actually start moving around and start using environments more if you understand to pick ones with arms so that you can keep up and down. And of course, make sure you have your pillow. Right? So that should do it. If you're doing this course for credit, I'd like you to send me a picture to Ange at cleaninguplady.us. Again, send me a picture of you using your new pillow. We already have a picture of you sitting without using something like that pillow in your old posture, right? So now we want to start seeing how things look as you start to make some changes. Namaste.